Most people think Eben Etzebeth was always built like this, but he wasn't. When he started high school, he was around 1.5 meters tall and weighed just 56 kilograms. He didn't play in the top teams, he played in the B teams, on the wing, at the center, even at fly half. He was better known for athletics than rugby, a sprinter, a high jumper, not a dominant force, not a future Springbok. But how does a player like that become one of the most feared men in rugby? Because what changed wasn't just his body, it was how quickly everything happened. Over the next few years, he grew rapidly. By the time he reached grade 11, he had gained close to half a meter in height and added nearly 50 kilos. When he came back to school that year, his coach described him as a monster. He wasn't a back anymore. He was moved into the forwards almost immediately, and from that point on, his rugby changed completely. But what matters the most is that by the time this size came, he wasn't learning how to be physical, because he already was. Eben Etzebeth was born in Cape Town, South Africa, a place where rugby carries weight far beyond the field. In many parts of the country, the game is tied closely to identity. Rugby was always present, not just as a sport, but as something expected. And within his own family, that presence was even stronger. His uncles Cliffy and Scatty were known in the local rugby circles. They were professional wrestlers and legendary hard men, known for their immense physical strength and combativeness. They were notorious for their toughness in the Paro area of Cape Town. Stories often circulated about their involvement in legendary bar fights. Growing up around that, rugby wasn't abstract. It was just something you watched or trained for. It was part of everyday conversation. And that shaped the way Etzebeth approached the game early on. There was no need to build an identity around rugby. He grew up inside one. South Africa's rugby school system is one of the most competitive in the world. It is also unforgiving. Players who rely purely on physical strength are often exposed. Discipline, positioning, and decision-making are just as important as power. This is where Etzebeth's game began to take shape. He learned how to control his aggression, when to engage, when to hold position, when to commit fully to a collision. That balance is what separates players who are simply strong. For those who become effective at high levels, by the time he finished school, Eben had developed a style that was already recognizable. Direct, physical, and consistent. Not flashy, not unpredictable, but extremely difficult to deal with. Etzebeth's transition into professional rugby came in 2012, when he joined the Stormers. The jump from school rugby to Super Rugby is significant. The speed increases, the physicality intensifies, mistakes are punished immediately. Many young players take time to adjust. Etzebeth did not. From his earliest appearances, he looked comfortable at the level. He carried the ball with authority, defended with intent, and most importantly, he maintained the same physical presence that had defined his game at high school level. But what changed was the opposition. These were no longer developing players, they were experienced professionals. And yet Etzebeth's impact remained the same. Later that same year, Etzebeth was selected to play for the Springboks. At just 20 years old, he was stepping into one of the most demanding environments in world rugby. International rugby is less forgiving than any other level. The pace is faster, the margins are smaller, physical demands are constant, but Etzebeth adapted quickly. He didn't need a long adjustment period. He brought the same attributes that had defined his game up until that point: physical presence, consistency, and control. Within a short time, he became a regular starter, not because of potential, but because of performance. Over the next few years, Etzebeth established himself as a central figure in the Springbok pack. His role was clear: win collisions, maintain defensive structure, provide physical presence in key moments. It is not the most visible role in rugby. It does not always appear in the highlight reels, but it is one of the most important roles. Matches are often decided by small margins: a dominant tackle, a disrupted phase, a slowed breakdown. Etzebeth specialized in these moments, and over time, his consistency became one of his defining traits. As Etzebeth entered his mid-20s, his game matured. The physical attributes remained unchanged. He was still one of the most imposing players on the field. What improved was his understanding of the game. His positioning became more precise, his decision-making more controlled. He learned how to manage energy across a full match rather than attempting to dominate every moment. He began to choose the right moments. This shift made him more effective. It also extended his longevity at the highest level. The Rugby World Cup in 2015 marked Etzebeth's first experience at rugby's biggest stage. South Africa entered the tournament as one of the favorites. However, their campaign began with a shock loss to Japan. The result changed the tone of the tournament immediately. Pressure increased, expectations shifted. For many teams, such a loss can destabilize performance. But South Africa responded differently. They adjusted, regrouped, and fought their way through the tournament. Etzebeth played an important role in that response. He did not change his style. He did not try to do more than necessary. He remained consistent. South Africa ultimately finished third. While it was not the result that they had hoped for, the tournament provided valuable experience. For Etzebeth, it confirmed his ability to perform under pressure. Eben's style of play has always been aggressive. That aggression is central to his effectiveness. But at the highest level, that line is narrow. Rugby is a physical sport, but it's governed by strict rules. Players who operate close to that line are always under scrutiny. As his career progressed, this became a key area of development. Not removing the aggression, but refining it. Knowing where to push, when to step back, when to stay within the margins. This adjustment was critical. It allowed him to maintain the same physical presence without becoming a liability. And it's part of what transformed him from a powerful player into a reliable one. The 2019 Rugby World Cup was the defining moment of Etzebeth's career. South Africa entered the tournament with a clear tactical identity, structured play, strong defense, and physical dominance. Etzebeth played a central role in that system. His contributions were not always visible in statistics, but they were essential to the team's performance. He controlled collisions, disrupted opposition's rhythm, maintained defensive integrity. South Africa progressed through the tournament with increasing confidence. In the final, they faced England. The match was decided through physical control. South Africa dominated the contact area, and that dominance shaped the outcome. When the final whistle blew, South Africa were world champions. For Etzebeth, it was the culmination of years of development. Maintaining performance after reaching the top is one of the most difficult challenges in sport. Physical demands increase. Opponents adapt, motivation can decline. Etzebeth avoided these challenges through adaptation. He continued to refine his game, he improved his efficiency, reduced unnecessary effort, focused on impact. At this stage of his career, he also took a greater responsibility within the team. Leadership had become a larger part of his role. The 2023 Rugby World Cup presented another opportunity. Winning one World Cup is difficult. Winning a second requires sustained excellence. South Africa approached the tournament with experience and confidence. Etzebeth remained a key figure. His role had evolved. He was no longer just a physical enforcer. He was an experienced leader, a player who set standards through performance. South Africa navigated the challenging tournament. Close matches, high pressure, small margins, but they won again, back-to-back champions. For Etzebeth, it confirmed his place among the most consistent players of his generation. Eben Etzebeth's career is not defined by flair. It's not built on moments of brilliance. It is built on consistency, on performing the same demanding role at the same high level over a long period of time. He has played in one of the most physically demanding positions in rugby and maintained his standard across more than a decade. This is what separates him. Not just his size, not just his strength, but his ability to sustain both. Some players are remembered for individual moments, others for trophies. Eben Etzebeth will be remembered for something else, for the way he approached the game. Direct, physical, consistent. A player who did not change his style to stand out, but stood out because he executed it better than almost anyone else. In a sport built on physical competition, that level of consistency is rare. Well, once again guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. And if you have any other players that you would like to see a video, please leave a comment and let me know. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It'll help me grow. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. So thank you so much for watching.